This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people become wealthy, do work that they really love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ramsey personalities are always on the air with me. Today, George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print podcast, and also participating with Rachel Cruz and I tonight in our live stream on the Real Estate Reality Check. We are looking out our studio windows. If you're listening to us, this is July the 14th, and we'll be doing that event tonight. We're looking through all the equipment tonight that'll be used. We're actually going to use our lobby as our studio for the streaming, and so all the equipment's out there. And
feels like 48 million miles of cable just to run this thing. It's pretty impressive. And our normal audience that's up close to the screen has been pushed back into another county out there, way back there, guys. And yeah, so they're having to watch from back there, and which is probably helpful for how good looking you and I are. We look better from back there. It definitely helps. If they could dim the lights, it'd be even better.
So if you want to join us tonight for the live stream, the Real Estate Reality Check, George, Rachel, and I will be talking for about an hour, and we hope you can join us. It is a free event, and we're going to be talking about the real estate market. What's happening with inflation, recession, house prices, interest rates, all of that. And
what's not happening, too.
And what's not happening, yeah. Is it going to crash? Is it going to crash? Is it going to crash? Spoiler alert. We're going to tell you it's not. But we're going to actually deal with we're going to have a little bit of a college class, little charts and graphs.
I've never seen so many graphs and charts in my life.
We make them fun.
You're going to wear a tweed jacket and go full professor on us, and I can't wait.
No, I'm not. I'm not wearing a tweed jacket.
Just don't leave us to be a lecture professor.
Little elbow patches.
Yes.
Does that mean I would have tenure?
You will have tenure.
Oh, there you go.
I've always wanted that.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it means still, but it sounds cool.
It means you can't get fired even if you're stupid. Wow. That's what tenure means.
I see why people want it so badly.
And we've proven that with some of the college professors I had proved that. Yeah, so.
Do you offer that here at Ramsey?
No, we do not. That. We do not have that. We don't have tenure. So RamseySolutions.com/reality check. Join us tonight. It is a free event. Andrea starts off this hour in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Andrea, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Oh, Dave, it's good to talk to you again.
You too.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you.
I don't know if you remember. I actually met you back in 2019 at your studio. My husband and I stopped by, and I'm a balloon artist. I made a bunch of balloons for your grandkids.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Darling, I'm sorry. I've met so many people I can't remember my name. But I'm glad you're here. How can we help?
Okay, well, I was hoping you could help me with a little disagreement I'm having with my husband. We've been married 10 years, and I have listened to you longer and got him on to the Total Money Makeover, and we followed you and were able to get debt-free.
Good.
And we like it. He likes it a lot.
Good.
But now we are having our second baby due in November, and he's having to work from home, and I'm nesting, and we feel like it's time to move up in house, and we have a little bit of a disagreement. I feel like I found like the ideal dream house, and he feels like it's too much, and it would cause us to have a mortgage again for a little while, and he just doesn't want to do that. And I'm just like, don't feel like I want to settle when we're going to be in the house hopefully a long time. So that's
okay. So what is your current home worth?
We are hoping after realtor fees that we can get about $300,000 out of it.
Okay. And what would the other house cost?
The other house that we're looking at, our realtor thinks we could get it if we made an offer for $495,000.
So a move of $200,000. Do you have any money saved above the $300,000?
We do. We've got our emergency fund of $16,000, which we're not going to touch.
Correct.
And then in other various accounts, we've managed to save up about a little over $100,000.
Okay, so you're only $100,000 in disagreement.
basically.
Yeah, if you had another $100K, would he be okay with the $500,000 house?
He would be thrilled with it. His thing is, like, so some of these things
it's not too much house, it's no debt that he wants.
Right, it's not too much house, it's the no debt. He says, this house is fancy, it's a want, it's not a need. We shouldn't go into debt for a want.
Okay. And, okay, I got it. And so what's your household income?
So 2021, we did combined $101,000.
Mm-hmm. How quickly can you save $100,000?
I don't know. If we
less than 3 years, probably
2 to 3 years,
2.5 years, maybe
2 to 3 years.
Maybe.
No, definitely.
This year we're projected to do 119 to 126.
If you had to do it to save your life, you could save $100,000 in 2 years, but 3 you could definitely do it.
Okay.
Because you'd be living on beans and rice again in order to hit this goal. To do 2 years. 3 years, you can definitely do it. Okay. Or you can pick up. Do you have anything else you can sell?
Oh, nothing that's like worth much. I mean,
you got expensive cars?
No, they're used cars, and they are paid off, and they're kind of old. And
okay, they're not expensive. Okay.
What about going to a $400,000 house and you pay cash for it? Have you looked into what that would look like?
We're still looking and keeping our eyes open. We haven't ruled it out.
Okay, so here's the deal. What we're really arguing about is not whether you have too much house. If I'm understanding your outline, what you're really arguing about is is whether we go in debt or not.
Right.
And your husband's going, I finally got free. I can't walk willingly into another bear trap. I can't do it. I can't swallow the pill. As much as I love you, as much as I want you to have what you want, I just can't go back there. It makes me throw up into my mouth.
Right. And
That's
then part of me is also like, inflation is going up, and what if I buy too much house, and then the country's gone crazy, and then I can't feed
No, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. What you've got to worry about is what you can control. Your bottom line is you guys are arguing about $100,000 and 2 to 3 years. That's what you're arguing about. You're not really arguing about whether to move, if moving is valid, whether the $500,000 house is too big a house, we're really not arguing about any of those things. We're just $100,000 short of doing what you want to do, and you're willing to go in debt, and he's not.
Correct.
That's what it comes down to. And so once you quantify it that way, it gives you some real good points for discussion. I don't think either one of you are in the stupid zone with this. If you took out a little mortgage and paid it off real fast, it doesn't violate our guidelines. But I've got to personally agree with your husband. Once I got out of debt, you weren't going to drag me back in kicking and screaming under any circumstances. There wasn't anything Sharon wanted bad enough for me to do that, or I wanted bad enough for me to do that, ever. And I was actually more likely to want something than she was. But you couldn't get me to do it again. So I kind of understand where your husband's coming from. I don't think George and I have an answer for you.
There's no one right or wrong here. You guys have to get on the same page of whatever you do going forward.
And I don't think you're buying this house unless you both come into agreement. That's for sure. This is The Ramsey Show. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. We're talking about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Pete is in Boston. Hey, Pete, how are you?
How are you, Dave? Thank you again for taking my call. I talked to you about 18 months ago. I followed your advice about paying off my mortgage, and you're right, the grass really does feel greener.
Way to go, Pete.
Your peace of mind, the peace of mind is priceless. But I did have another question, Dave. I'm 65 years old. I have around $2.4 million in between 401 and IRA. I also have individual stocks and taxable mutual funds worth about $520. I just sold an inherited house, and I have about $140,000. And my question to you is, I don't have any Roth account. None of my assets are in Roth. And I'm wondering, at this stage of the game at my age, should I be getting involved with Roth? Should I use some of this money from the house to pay the federal tax to
roll some of it to Roth? Yeah. How old are you again?
Yeah. 65, going to be 66.
I probably wouldn't fool with it. You can if you want. Here's the benefit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say that you move $400,000 to Roth, and you use $100,000 to pay the taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you've got $100,000 that from this point forward will grow tax free. Now that's not going. Having traded 100 for tax free growth is not going to come out until it grows by more than 100.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you would have to commit to leave that particular account alone probably until death. And just let it be inherited.
Okay, I guess that was part of my concern is because I have 3 children. It would be inherited tax free for them. But I guess my concern is when RMDs come along.
Yeah, it'll help with that too. It'll help with RMDs.
Yeah, and
so that portion would not be subject to RMDs, but it won't grow enough tax-free dollars for a good decade anyway to have justified this.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're going to leave it alone at least 10 years, and it sounds like you don't need the money, you've got enough other money.
Yes.
So you could do it. I mean, there's no harm in it. Yeah. And it does help with RMDs, and it does help with inheritance. And it does help with the fact that the money, after that decade or so, but you could say, okay, how fast is that 400 going to grow, or how long does it take that 400 to grow to enough that the growth saves me $100,000 in taxes because I've already paid it?
Yeah.
It'd be close to a decade.
Yeah. So it's something you wouldn't necessarily do if you were in my position. You would, or
I would if you're going to commit to not touching this particular account for over a decade.
Okay. All right. That's. I needed to know that. Ironically, just one other thing. I have a 401k, and there's about a 1.6 in the 401k. I got about 600 in the other one, in the IRA, and the IRA is the one I have a financial advisor, and it's down almost double what my 401k is. And I know this is you have to wait this market out, but it's just amazing.
Yeah. So, and when you pay attention. Now, out of this $2.6 million at 65 years old, did you start out, or did you inherit a lot of money, or did you start out with a lot of money, or how'd you get this?
No, this is from working, putting money away all my life. I inherited about $600,000 taxable. And the house.
After you were already a millionaire, or did that make you a millionaire?
Oh yes, long after.
Okay,
yes.
So you were already a millionaire, and then you inherited money.
Yeah.
So you're not a millionaire because of inherited money. Okay, interesting. I always just want to verify that because there's lots of these guys out here all across America, and for those of you that are so stupid that you think everybody inherits their wealth, it almost never happens statistically. Very few, less than 10% of Americans become wealthy or exclusively become millionaires because of, and we've got data to prove that, because of that. And so when they become wealthy and you say stupid butt stuff like, you're so lucky, Luck didn't have squat to do with it. That's like looking at the farmer who just had corn grow and saying, "You're so lucky," after he planted the freaking corn.
Yeah, Pete didn't win the lottery to get here. He just consistently invested over a long period of time, and now he's got these kinds of options. It's amazing. But it sounds like he can do it, but not for the ROI benefits mathematically, but more for some other benefits with the RMDs and being able to pass it on.
Yeah, the ROI will be there probably in 7 to 10 years. That's what we're saying. But the trick is that the tax-free part has to offset the part that you put that money up front. And so it takes about a decade for that to work out. I've done all of mine years ago, but knowing that I wasn't going to touch it. I'll probably never touch any of those accounts while I'm alive.
Just get passed on.
Yeah, and so all of them everything I have is in Roth now. I've converted it all and paid the taxes. And even the matching portion that comes in, we converted and pay the taxes. Courtney is in Canton, Ohio. Hi, Courtney. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I wanted to hear that. Not quite sure the shortened version of this. Basically, I don't have much of an income right now. Basically, my only income right now is door dashing. I am about to take an exam to get my insurance license to get an actual income and have an actual job. With the limited income that I have, I've been trying to do your baby steps for I can't tell you how long. Unfortunately, because of another relationship that I ended back in February was why I couldn't really fully do the baby steps. At this point, I have $5 in savings. My question is, what is the best way to still work towards that end goal of at least creating that $1,000 starter emergency fund with only having about $100 a week?
How come you're only making $100 a week? How many hours are you doing DoorDash?
As often as I can. A week.
What else do you do?
What's taking up your time?
I don't have a babysitter.
So it's childcare.
I have tried numerous people, and they've all, it was either my teenage sister being a teenage girl or the other person that I was able to find that got a better opportunity.
Can you find work from home right now? Maybe a customer service job online?
Studying to take my exam took up a lot of the past couple weeks.
Not an insurance
and
exam.
Before that, yes.
An insurance exam's not that hard.
No,
How old are you, Courtney?
I don't know. 25.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing.
Before this, I was trying to start like an in-home cleaning business, so I had income since February, but since then it didn't, I guess, prove to be as successful as I wanted it to be to start off.
What you don't need is an income. You need to allocate more hours to work some way or another. You've got to find some way to go make some money. Because you don't have any money. Okay. You don't even have money to pay for food. Right? $100 a week won't pay for food.
Fortunately, I get assistance in that. But, yeah, no, if I didn't have that assistance, I wouldn't be able to.
What kind of assistance?
Food stamps.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. The reason you don't have any money is you don't work much. So we've got to find some way. You have to find some way to find some hours or some method that the kid rides along with you. I don't know what it is that you go make money, because that's your problem. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a situation. What happened if you got a full-time job making $100,000 a year? Well, you'd have to find a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know, and what happens when you get ready to go sell some insurance? You're going to have to find a babysitter. So you're a single mom, and you're going to have to solve that equation. And that's the problem you've got. There's no magic wand that makes $100 a week work. We don't have one of those. So this is an income crisis, kiddo. You have an income crisis, and you need to treat it that way. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Steve and Dawn are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi, Dave.
Welcome,
Hi,
welcome. Where do you guys live?
Northville, Michigan.
Oh, cool. Welcome to Nashville. And how much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $315,000 in 7 years and 5 months.
Way to go. And your range of income during that 7 years and 5 months?
It was starting at $140 and ended around $230.
Excellent. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a preschool teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an IT.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Very cool. So 7 years and $300,000. I'm guessing you might have paid off your house.
We did.
You're weird people! Looking at weird people! Normal people have a mortgage and a spare bedroom for Sally Mae. Not you. You're 100% debt-free.
That's right.
We are.
Way to go, guys. All right, tell us the story. What in the world happened 7 years ago? They got you connected up with this Ramsey stuff.
Well, it was around 2010 that I learned about you by my friend Heather. She had Total Money Makeover and told me you should read this book. Mm-hmm. So I read it in like 2 days and told Steve about it and got him on board. We were pretty excited, but life kind of got in the way, and we had we only had car debt at that point. Mm-hmm. So we were told by a lot of people, you're always going to have car debt. Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about getting rid of that. But we decided that we were going to do it. And our daughter, Kate, I remember driving to the credit union making the last payment. And she was like 6 at the time. And she said, Mom, are we going to call Dave Ramsey and do our debt-free scream?
I love it.
And I said, well, I would like to wait until we pay our mortgage off.
Wow. So here we are 7 years later.
So, yeah. So then a few years later, we decided when we bought our current house, that we were going to be really focused and on paying the mortgage off.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go, you guys.
Thank you.
So, Steve, were you on board immediately? You just said it like, so I just got Steve on board. It's not always that easy.
I was not on board immediately. I had to be talked into it, much like a lot of things in my life.
So it was a persuasive speech, and you went,
right.
Okay, fine, I'll give it a shot.
Absolutely.
And you started doing it, and you went, oh my gosh, we can do this.
Yeah, and it's like car debt. It just seems ridiculous now, right? Like, why would anybody have car debt?
You know too much to ever go back. Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive. Yeah. And Kate, she must have seen a lot along the journey. She must have been inspired by you guys in your financial journey. We say more is caught than taught. Do you think this stuff has stuck with her?
I think so. And she's actually, through her high school, she's going to be taking the foundations course her senior year next year.
Yay.
Awesome.
So we're really excited about that
Fantastic.
She can start off. And so we just have college next. We're hoping that we know we're going to be able to cash flow college.
Oh, yeah. Wow, this income and no debt. I mean, what's the house worth?
Yeah.
480. I think 480,000.
How much you got in retirement?
We have about 600 in retirement.
So you're baby steps millionaires.
We are.
Woo!
That's
Way
a
to go,
bonus.
guys!
I know.
That happens a lot when they pay off the house.
Oh, yeah.
That finishes it up. Yeah. Well
Sometimes
done,
not even
guys.
intentional. You just
Thank
wake up
you.
and go, oh my gosh, I guess we're millionaires. Look at that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when we got really close at the end, it was like we were just aggressively the mortgage and like paying crazy amounts onto our mortgage.
When you can see the finish line, you can sprint.
That's right.
I mean, you can do it, even if it's a long run. As long as you can see the finish line, you find out how much you got left in the tank.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Well done, guys. Very, very well done. Proud of you. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I think it's just perseverance.
Do not stop.
Yeah, and just realizing that, there's an end in sight and you're going to get there. And just, I think we added on $300 onto our mortgage payment for a while, and then we increased it to $500, and then we increased it to $1,000, and then pretty much we were paying an extra $2,000 on our mortgage payment.
Whoa,
that's awesome.
So as your income came up, you just threw it all at the
pretty much
at the house. Yeah,
we did.
And that curve took you on out in 7 years. Yeah.
Yes.
You want to beat your personal best and go, how much more can we put on this month? We can beat that. We can beat that.
Gotta beat the PR, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. Just having a goal.
That's it. It matters. It matters. How's it feel to be free?
I don't think it's sunk in for me
We're still
yet.
living like we have a crazy amount of debt.
Yeah.
So
what's the first big thing you plan to do now that you're free?
I need a new car.
Okay, that's fair.
So I've been driving the same car since 2008.
Yeah, it's time.
It's got 200,000 miles on it. We just put a crazy large improvement on that car. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Got to get a car.
I like the car. I like the car.
Oh,
though.
you like the car.
It's the coolest thing about me, Dave.
Oh, boy. It's a low bar. That's the year the original iPhone came out in 08. It's time to upgrade.
Probably is.
That's awesome, though. You know what you're going to get?
No.
No dreams
No
yet.
idea.
You're still hanging on to the old beater. I love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cars are really expensive right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're maybe going to wait just a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, way to go, guys. Very, very well done. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, since you are one. That'll be perfect. And
Thanks.
a Total Money Makeover book as well. You can give that to somebody and show them what to do. And a 1-year subscription to Financial Peace University as well. We'll get you the card for that. And all of those may be things you give away, or maybe some of them you'll use yourself. But either way, they're great. And so we're proud of you guys. Way to go, heroes.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Get it, man. You're weirdos. Not only you out of debt, house and everything, but you became Baby Steps. How old are you? Became Baby Steps millionaires.
50 years old.
52.
Okay. That's exactly the average millionaire. It takes them 7 to 10 years to pay off their house, and they're 50 to 52 years old. In our study, that's what we found.
You guys are average in the best way possible.
You're the typical, you're the stereotypical Baby Steps millionaire. Perfect.
Awesome.
Well done. Steve, I'm sorry?
Dave, if I can just say one more thing. Our son, Cole, is with us too, and he's off site right now, but he has special needs, and he's 20, and he's just been a part of this journey as well. So we just wanted to mention him.
Absolutely. He's part of the process.
He is.
Very cool.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right, Steve and Dawn, Cole and Kate from Michigan. $315,000 paid off, house and everything. They did it in 7 years and 5 months, making $140 to $230. That officially puts them over the line, and they're Baby Steps millionaires. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
We love it.
Well done, well done, well done. Beautiful.
Dave, we got to talk about this. So paying off your house. We're doing this event tonight, Real Estate Reality Check. And a big part of becoming a Baby Steps millionaire and building wealth is becoming a homeowner and paying off your house. That's a huge part of the wealth building equation. And I think people don't always connect the dots there when they think about wealth building, becoming a millionaire, and being a homeowner and paying off the mortgage early. Not sitting around for 30 years and doing the HELOC and doing all kinds of stupid stuff and renovations, pulling money out. It's about paying it off.
Yep, and not about moving up. It's about paying it off. So they bought a $300,000 house that's now worth $500,000, and they've got $600,000 in their 401ks. That puts them at $1.1 million net worth. See, your millionaire means you have $1 million net worth. What you own minus what you owe. Assets minus liabilities. It does not mean your income. Well, nobody should have $1 million. It's not a moral construct. You can discuss that if you want to discuss that.
It's an accounting definition.
It's an accounting definition. And so, I don't feel like I have any money. Doesn't matter. It's not a feeling. I don't think it's enough. Doesn't matter. It's still $1 million. There's only one definition of millionaire. It's not a feeling. It's not a moral construct. It's not any of these things. It's simply assets minus liabilities. It's not your income. It's not what your broke brother-in-law's opinion is about who you should vote for. It is none of it's wealth inequality is just unfair. It's none of that. It's none of that. Fair is where you get cotton candy and ride the tilt-a-whirl. That's what fair is.
Don't forget the deep-fried Oreos.
Deep-fried Oreos?
Yeah.
You've been going to some redneck fairs.
Hey, listen. I'm fully ingrained in the South now as a Boston native.
Deep-fried Oreos.
Try it sometime. It'll change your life.
Oh, my mouth's watering. What do you mean?
It'll change your body chemistry.
It did thinking about it. It's awful.
We'll go to the fair together, Dave.
Deep-fried. I've done deep-fried moon pies. I've made them.
Wow.
But I've never done... that's a thing. I didn't know... Well, of course, you go to this fair, you could get deep-fried anything.
They'll deep-fry anything in the South, Dave. You know that.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't know what that has to do with being a millionaire, but there we go.
We rabbit trailed hard there.
Yeah, hard left. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. Common sense for your dollars and cents and for your life. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Marquita is in Seattle. Hey, Marquita, how are you?
Greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings. How may we help?
I am calling because I need some advice, Papa Dave.
Okay.
My grandfather was a longshoreman. He bought property, 2 lots in California and 2 lots in Mississippi. When he passed away, he passed the lots. He gave the lots to his 10 children. Out of the 10 children, 4 have passed away. 3 of the 4 that have died have heirs. 6 are still alive. 2 that are currently alive, their health is deteriorating. 1 had a recent stroke, and my mother is dealing with ALS.
Oh, my God.
And so my question is, what is the process and the cost selling sibling estate interest for income just so that my mom, who's dealing with the illness, can have some sort of income to live on. Her
is
income.
There any communication among this huge number of heirs?
There's no communication, and this is what's prompted me to call you, because it's always been circling in the back of my head subconsciously, because no one's talked about it. And now that they're getting older, the 10 siblings are in their late 70s, early 80s. They're passing away, but no one is. I haven't heard any conversations about heirs inheriting their parents' interests that have passed away.
That's what will happen.
So right, and so that has happened. However, no conversation has been tabled, and so that now that my mother is dealing with ALS,
you're getting ready to be the owner
of my mind.
Yeah, you're getting ready to be the owner of this, and she could use the cash right now. Yeah.
Correct. And I wanted to know, what is the process and the cost for selling her? And pardon me if I'm not using the correct verbiage. Is it the estate interest? I don't know if it's a joint
just her
ownership
percentage.
amongst the siblings.
She's got a basket full of partners, and she's just selling her portion of ownership to someone. Preferably, the most likely would be another relative of some kind. So what I do is start calling all the different relatives and say, is anybody interested in Mom's portion? And then you would say, okay, her portion is, what is it, 1/10? Is that what it was?
I don't know what the
It should still be a tenth.
Whatever her original percentage is, still is.
You said there was 10
kids.
Chance,
yes, 1/10 of 10 siblings. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we say the lots are worth $1 million as a group, then her 1/10 is worth $100,000, and we'd be willing to sell that right now for $65,000. Discount it.
Got it.
And then if somebody wants to buy out her 10th, maybe somebody in that pile of siblings, more likely kids of the siblings, nieces and nephews, might want to be trying to kind of gather up ownership, because if someone can gather up 51% of the ownership, they can act on behalf of everyone else because they have controlling interest.
51%, which is a little over half. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, you can force a sale at that point. You can force the others to sell it, which is really what should have happened. That should have happened decades ago.
Right.
They should have put these properties up for sale and divvied up the cash, because cash will always divvy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there any formal agreement that you have?
There's no formal agreement. I checked with my mother, and she said, and I asked her to verify, is she listed on the property? Has she seen the deed with her name on it? Mm-hmm. Does she recall if she has a percentage, or is it joint ownership? Does she remember any of the verbiage? And she could not recall, but she did say her name was listed. All 10 siblings were listed on there. So I don't know, do we need a real estate attorney or an attorney?
Not until you have a buyer.
What's the process? Got it.
And the only buyer, likely, nobody really wants this. I wouldn't want it for any price. I wouldn't give you $2 for it, because I don't want to deal with this basket of crazy. Okay, but one of the people in the basket may want it. That's your most likely buyer, by far.
Got it.
So I just start contacting them. You have any semblance of any guess of what these lots are worth?
2 of the lots are in a historic black town, which is the first black town in Allensworth, California, which is about 2.5 hours away from south of San Francisco.
I don't need all that. What are they worth?
I don't know.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. I mean, because if you're dealing with 1/10 of $100,000, I'm not even going to fool with it. If you're dealing with 1/10 of $1 million, then maybe it's worth fooling with.
Makes sense.
I wouldn't spend $12,000 in legal fees chasing $10,000.
Yeah.
So, I try to get some guess of what they're worth and try to have some contact with some of the more intelligent, more business-minded nieces, nephews, or siblings, but it's probably nieces or nephews, and then start trying to talk one of them into buying up controlling interest in these things so they can flip them and get the mess cleaned up. Because the likelihood of getting all of these people to line up and sign a deed together and sell the thing to somebody else as an individual,
it's an act of Congress right there.
Well, we're trying to get two people to disagree that hadn't even talked. I mean, to agree to do something, and not only to agree to sell it, but also to agree on the price. Oh my God!
What is the right way to do this, Dave? If you were the grandfather leaving this to 10 kids, is there a simpler, cleaner way?
I would have just sold it. Requires it's auctioned. Or so it's sold or auctioned within 12 months of my death, and then that money's divvied up among the kids. Because 10 people owning a piece of real estate's unwieldy, as we just discovered. Okay, it's unwieldy. Now, our case, our real estate is left into a trust, and the trust sets up all the agreement for how things are operated, and then the kids are the beneficiaries of the trust.
And it's been clearly communicated.
Everybody knows this. There's a full plan out on how it will function and so forth. And then, the kids, they have voting rights in the trust. And if 2 of the 3 Ramsey kids decided to sell it all, they can sell it all and divvy it up.
Majority
wins. If they want to hold it, they can hold it. But they've got a process for governance and communication and a process to decide whether to keep a certain piece of property within that trust or not. Those kinds of things.
Instead of wild, wild
west. That's one way you can do it. But just dumping a whole bunch of people onto a deed with no mechanisms for governance it creates a mess. What we've got here is we turned a piece of property, the value of it, into zero potentially.
And then it's split because of the heirs, and now it gets way more complicated.
Exactly.
Oof.
Wow. Exactly. So, yeah, you do want this. This is one of the reasons we talk about Mama Bear legal forms have a will. Get with somebody, get your will in place, and if you've got substantial assets, leave them into a trust. But in that guy's case, he might have just needed a will, and the will could have simply stated, Grandpa, the original Grandpa in the story, upon my death, these lots are to be liquidated and turned into cash by slow sale or auction within 12 months of my death. And you could just say that in the will, and then whatever they bring, the kids divvy it up. And by the way, if one of the kids wants to buy it, they can. Yep. So there you go.
Nice.
And we actually have a few pieces of real estate that are not left in the trust. And one of the things we did that just for fun, just to tell people, because if somebody wants to sell a piece of real estate or buy it, if the other person wants to keep it, they can buy out the other shares at 80% of their share.
At a slight discount.
Because you're not going to net 100% after real estate fees and closing costs anyway. And so you have it appraised, and at 80 cents on the dollar, the other siblings can buy out the other one.
The deal has to make sense.
And so it's already set up, though. It's not a negotiation. It's set up. If you want to buy it, this is the price.
It avoids conflict, that's for sure.
Lots of communication, lots of clarity. That's why I told her $65,000 on $100,000 there. Just go ahead and discount it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. William is in Tampa to start off this hour. Hey, William, what's up?
Hey, Dave and George. How are you guys?
Great, man. How can we help?
Me and my wife are flipping a investment property, and we are in contract. And come to find out, the people purchasing the house are in an extended stay, and they're paying them $3,500. Now, I had the bright idea to let them move in before they close, and my wife instantly said no. So we're not doing it. Philosophically, I know she's right, but can you tell me logically why she's right?
Well, she's not necessarily right. It's done all the time that people move into properties or remain in properties after they sell them, either one. But what you would have to do is you would have to have a series of check boxes that made it wise, okay? One is I'd want to be very sure of their financing, okay? Are they financing the property that they're purchasing?
Yes.
Okay, I'd want a lot of details about that and know that they're qualified. Their mortgage company needs to give me a lot of assurances this deal's closing. Okay. 2 is I want a ridiculous deposit. Okay, that is refunded upon closing. Like, I don't know, what's the property selling for?
$315,000.
Okay, like $10,000, $15,000. That's what I'd call a ridiculous deposit. Okay? But they get it back as long as they close, right?
Yes.
Then the next thing is obviously, well, not obviously, but the other thing is there's a lease, there's a written agreement that if they don't close by a certain date, they move out and they forfeit their deposit. Okay.
Would you do a weekly lease or a monthly lease?
Well, it'd just be a written document that gives the terms of the lease, which is how much they're paying you, how much the deposit is, and that if they don't close by X date, they move out and forfeit their deposit. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if you've got a solid document like that, you've got a big butt deposit like that, and you've got real good assurance on these people are studs as far as their finances go, their financing is going, then there's not much risk to this. You kind of almost hope they don't close and you pocket $15,000.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Well, it does. That's why I wanted to do it, but when she doesn't want to do something, I listen to that.
Well, I listen to it too.
Forward.
Just letting them move in, she's right. I wouldn't do that. Without those other three things, okay? But if they don't want to put up a deposit, good. Sit in the extended care. They don't want to sign a lease, good. Sit in the extended stay. I call it extended care. This is daycare. But or if their finances look iffy, then yeah, she would be right in any of those if you don't do at least those three things. Okay, I'll flip it on its head. I just did this, only it was me. Okay? Or something similar. I sold my home, which was a multi-million-dollar property, and the buyer, part of the agreement was, I did it last year, part of the agreement was I got to stay there rent-free for 4 months after I closed on it, but I left them a big deposit. And we had a written agreement, and then we moved out, and we got our deposit back. Simple deal, right? But part of the agreement was I stayed in a house that they owned because we closed it, and I stayed in my old house 4 months after closing. You see what I'm doing? So that's a similar deal, but it's a seller deal rather than a buyer deal. Yeah. But still, that's the process. So the whole thing, George, is
cover your bases.
Dot your I's, cross your T's. Now, are you doing that with any of your sales? Or are you moving in or out?
Yeah, so the buyers of our current home are allowing us to live there 10 days after closing for free as part of the deal.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it, and it's all in the agreements, and it all makes sense. And if we don't close, there's ramifications. And so, all of that makes sense when you have your I's dotted, your T's crossed. But when you just do it willy-nilly without any agreements on the table, that's where it gets dangerous.
Then his wife would be right. Yeah, and sometimes people do that. They just, whatever, and then you get into a problem.
Yeah. So just make sure you do your due diligence. You've got the right paperwork in place. You've got the agreements. You feel good about the closing.
Parker's in Atlanta. Hey, Parker, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I understand. So my wife and I just accepted new jobs about a few weeks ago. And just so happens we ended up starting at almost the exact same time.
Cool.
So with that comes, of course, open enrollment for healthcare, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And that got me wondering, do you have any thoughts or opinions on each of us having a family healthcare plan where one of them would be like a PPO or something generic, and the other one is an HSA that we would attempt not to touch?
You can't do it. You're going to screw up everything. Okay? If you have two health plans covering the same people, they argue about who is primary. And neither one of them will pay. So just buy a health plan for your family at one place or the other.
Okay, so I should not do dual at all.
No dual. Dual gives you absolutely zero benefit. They are not going to both pay.
Okay.
They're going to argue about who pays.
No. Okay.
How many people in the family, Parker?
It's just my wife and I.
Oh, okay. So
does your company furnish yours free and hers furnish hers free?
I mean, we pay into it, if that's what you're asking.
No, that's not free if you're paying into it. No, okay.
Right.
So you both have to pay for it, okay? Are you paying for yours more than you would pay extra to be on hers?
No.
Or vice versa? Because it might be cheaper for both of you to be on one or the other as an add-on than it is to have two standalone policies. but it might be cheaper if the companies are subsidizing it for both of you to each have your own at your own companies. It'll be fine, but there's no reason for any kind of double coverage because you don't benefit from it.
Dave,
you pay for it and you don't get anything except a hassle.
Oh, yeah. My wife works here at Ramsey, and we both have separate policies because it makes more sense.
It's mathematically better.
Because you got to do the family plan if not. And we don't have kids. There's not, there's all kinds of...
Oh, and it doesn't save you any money because we pay for a bunch of yours. Okay.
Yes. So you got to crunch the numbers here and go, what makes sense for us based on health and cost.
That's it. That makes sense. Okay, good. This is The Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Guys, we get it. When you're worried, money is all consuming. You can wonder if you've got enough to pay your bills or even afford to fill up at the gas station. It's always on your mind. But you work too hard to live like that. You shouldn't have to be stressed out. You should have peace. And when you have a proven, detailed plan that millions of people have used to not only get out of debt, but to become millionaires, well, it gives you a lot of peace. That's why we named it Financial Peace University. Almost 10 million people have gone through this class now to learn how to budget, to save, to spend, to invest, to become debt-free, and to be outrageously generous. And now is a great time to take the course. We just updated almost every single video, and it includes George Camel and Dr. John Deloney now, and you don't want to miss it. So it's Rachel Cruz, Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney, George Camel, and it's quite a lineup. You're going to love the new lessons. Decide today that you're done letting money stress rule your life. You can do this. Get started with Financial Peace University by visiting RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with free samples, free shipping, and new promos every month. You'll save even more. Always use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Sean in Mississippi. He says, my wife and I have been tackling our $200,000 of debt for the past 3 years, and we have about $55K left. We've continued to tithe and contribute to various Christian organizations. This has caused some debate between us. I'm more aligned with taking a step back from tithing and paying off our debt. However, my wife remains steadfast in our need to continue to tithe at least 10% of our income. I know the baby steps say that we need to complete baby step 2 before starting baby step 7. However, our charitable contributions are very important to us. If we had not donated over the past 3 years, we would be debt-free now. Do you have any recommendations on how to persuade my wife to concentrate solely on paying down debt? Wow. Well, that's assuming that we agree with you, Sean, isn't it? That's a problem.
Yeah, I think the problem is we're probably not going to agree with either one of you here.
Yeah, Sean is looking at the math and going, well, if we stop tithing, we could pay off debt faster. Doesn't that make sense, Dave? That's the whole point of the process. Mm-hmm. But it's not. There's a heavy spiritual component, if you're a person of faith, that you should tithe 10%, and that's the baseline.
Yeah, and Scripture is pretty clear that it's first fruits. The tithe, the 10% to your local church, is first fruits. It comes off the top before you do anything else. Now, we're not legalistic about it. That's just what the Bible says. And so if you want to do something else, God's not going to be mad at you, but his instruction manual is very clear that a tenth of your income goes to your local church. This is what evangelicals have taught and believed for years. Now, lots of people have different, viewpoints or whatever within different denominational movements, but evangelicals across the board, this is what we teach, what we believe, and there's a lot of scriptural basis for it, obviously. And so, but again, nothing has to do with your salvation. God doesn't need your money. The church doesn't even really need your money. If they do, they got other issues. But really, this is about you having a rhythm of giving in your life, and that God wants you to have giving at the top of your list always. So now, where I would disagree with your wife is the other things that are not a tenth of your income going to your local church are not tithing.
The extra to the charitable
offerings. Those are called offerings. And there is no scriptural indication that offerings come from anything but surplus. And while you have debt, you don't have surplus. So offerings should come from surplus. So I personally did and would recommend that while you're getting out of debt, you tithe and nothing more. And so I did not give to any other ministries, any other parachurch organizations or anything else while I was getting out of debt except my local church, my 10th. You'll have plenty of time to do that later once you're out of debt. But you're taking care of your own household first. You don't have surplus, and offerings come from surplus. And so even extra things that the church is asking for. We're in a building program. We're trying to raise money for whatever cause that the church is doing. Well, they're going to have to take it out of my tithe check. And that's what I did while I was doing it. Again, none of this, though, is a salvation issue. None of this makes God love you more or less. None of this falls in that bucket. But these are just if you do a detailed, in-depth Bible study, this is where it will lead you. And that's why it's what we've done and what we've told you to do.
Now, where would you say to bring those back in, the offerings, the charitable contributions? Would that come after baby step 3?
Yes.
Because we're kind of done with the gazelle intensity. We're moving to intentional.
Because baby step 3, as far as I'm concerned, is taking care of your own household. If you don't have an emergency fund and you're not debt free, you haven't taken care of your household.
Got a rocky foundation.
And Scripture says take care of your own household first, or you're worse than an unbeliever. Okay, so take care of your own household first. And that doesn't mean be selfish as a course of your life or as a character quality. It just means that you've got to feed your kids before you feed hungry kids. Because yours are hungry too, okay? And so that's all that means. You pay your light bill before you pay the light bill at the homeless shelter. And you
can let that fuel you. I mean, if you're on the debt-free journey,
absolutely, it should fuel you.
They're passionate about giving.
If you have a desire about giving, it means you're going to. There's high correlation between that and people that build wealth.
Let's get out of debt faster so that we can do what we really want to do, which is give outrageously.
And the most fun you'll ever have with money. We teach on generosity a lot. We believe in generosity. But that's the nuanced detail of how to flesh out your generosity. So your wife is trying to do too much. You all have been doing too much, and you're trying to do too little. So you both are wrong.
Split the difference.
That's according to what we teach and according to what I believe. So there we go. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Carla is in Las Vegas. Hey, Carla, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. Hi, George.
Hey.
How can we help?
So I have a question. We have a home. We have our house that we paid off, and we are currently in the process of purchasing a new home.
Great.
Yeah. So my husband and I, initially thought about putting the house for sale, using the funds from that home, from our current home, into the new home, but we're kind of unsure if we should do that or just keep it as a rental property.
Do you have the money to pay for the new home in cash if you don't sell yours?
No, we don't.
I'd probably sell it then.
We do have.
I'm going to sell it and use the proceeds on the new one. What's the new one going to cost?
So the new one is right under $600,000.
Mm-hmm. And what's the mortgage you need to take out on that?
It's about anywhere from $300 to $3,400 a month.
But are you taking out all $600? Do you have a down payment on this new one? Because all your money's tied up in the old house.
Right. So we do have savings, and we are putting. I mean, the minimum that we should put is about $50,000.
Okay. No, here's the thing. I would not do this. I just wouldn't do it. You need to sell your current house. Here's why. Okay. Let's say that you keep the current house, it's paid for, and you have a debt on your home. Effectively, it wasn't directly, but effectively, it's the same thing as having borrowed on a paid-for home to buy a rental property. And we would never tell you to do that. But you see how that's exactly what you've ended up doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to take this money and any money you got in savings, and you're going to either pay cash for or almost pay cash for the new property, get it paid off, and then you should start saving in cash to buy your next rental in cash. But I'm not going to lead you to borrow money on your residence to go buy rentals.
Yeah.
And effectively, that's what's happening here.
You're not quite at a place to be a real estate investor
yet. You need to get rid of it. And I know it sounds fancy or it sounds sophisticated, and I've always made a rental property. Yeah, that's great, but you don't do it this way. This is you're going to get yourself in a crack here, kiddo. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get in your residence, get your residence paid off, and then start saving up and buying rentals with cash. It's what I did years ago, and I've got several $100 million worth of real estate. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Paul and Stephanie are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. Hello, we're good. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Where do you live?
We are from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh, fun. Liberty Town. Yeah,
that's
good.
Right.
Good stuff. Did you go to Liberty?
Yes, I went there for grad school, and then he went there for about a year.
Ah, yeah. Excellent. Okay, cool. So how much debt have you paid off?
$100,887.95.
Love it. How long did that take?
29 months.
Whoa. And your range of income during that time?
Started around $53,000 up to about $95,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a marriage and family therapist.
Excellent. Cool. So what was the $101,000?
All student loans.
All student loans, and did it in 29 months. How long y'all been married?
Just over 3 years.
Okay, so right after the honeymoon, basically, you sat down and said, okay, this is a problem. Tell me the story. What happened?
Yeah, so it started more so in 2017. We had you come to our church and did the whole cutting up of credit cards and after that, our church offered financial peace. And so we ended up taking
You're at Thomas Road?
Yeah.
With Jonathan? Okay. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, so, and we had never heard of you before that. And so we ended up taking the class with our life group. Honestly, really enjoyed it, but still at the time felt like we didn't have any money to save or to spend.
Broke college students, yeah.
Yeah, so we waited a couple of years, got married. We got married 2 weeks after I graduated from grad school, and then the 6 months later was when my tuition payments started. And so at the time, I had started calculating how much it would cost to if we did like the 10-year plan that they automatically put you on, and it was going to be $20,000 extra dollars. And I told Paul that, and we were just like, no. That's just like wasted money, it felt like.
You didn't want to make a donation to Sally Mae?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, when Steph said that, it was pretty much game on.
And then you remembered that guy that was at church that time.
Yes, that's right. Because then we got back into, I don't remember this, but he said that I just like started YouTubing you and was looking up a bunch of videos, and then got back into, we started listening to podcasts, and like honestly from there, we've just been like doing your plan since.
Wow.
So
good for you guys.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Very cool. So basically, right after you got married, all this stuff comes loose because you graduate.
Yeah.
Everything starts coming due. Where there's $20,000 discussion, YouTube pops up, and you go, okay, we're getting out of this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Good for you.
We just didn't want to do it anymore because he was still in school when I finished. So we got to like thankfully start with mine, and then his started a little bit later.
So as a newlywed couple, you kind of want to do all the things and upgrade the cars, and we graduated and get the house. What were the sacrifices you guys had to make in the face of probably all of your friends doing those things?
Yeah. I'll start. We kind of loved that process just because we honestly like have not really, I don't know, we haven't really spent our lives just like getting expensive things. And so we always tell everyone our apartment, you can vacuum the whole thing from one outlet. And so it's like super low cost.
There's a perk.
It's a long corridor, a small apartment.
You should be a real estate agent. You're in the wrong field.
Right. It's so small. So we just had really low expenses overall. Like we had, low cost of living.
Paid for cars.
That's right. Yeah. Super low phone payments. The laundry.
Oh, yeah. We were, we had to use quarters at the laundromat, and we decided we weren't going to dry our clothes. We were just going to hang them up in front of a fan and save the $1.50 and put it towards our bed.
Like Little House on the Prairie.
Pretty much everything we did, we tried to save.
They didn't have a fan.
Yeah. You just have to wait a couple days.
Yeah.
You're going to wait a couple days until you need that shirt or that pair of pants.
Perfect.
That is some sacrifice. Impressive.
Wow.
All to save $1.50, but that added up.
It did. Yep.
Yeah.
101,029 months. That's legit. I mean, you kicked it.
Wow.
You kicked it hard. So now, at the end of the day, what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? Because you're professionals. You've done it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of it was getting on the same page, and like with sacrificing, try to find some fun things to do along with it. We did a lot of hiking, like things for free, even like with our laundry or not turning the heat on all winter. We just found ways to save money like wherever we could, and it felt like
you
it
guys
brought
made
us
like
closer
a game
together.
out of it, didn't you?
Yeah,
we did. Oh yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
Because it really, the $1.50 really didn't matter. It was just part of the game.
Yeah, it was just I think it's just the attitude of saving like brought us closer together in our marriage, and then just it gave us a very real goal. It helped for us to like set dates and try to hit those, and
which also makes it super sweet when you pay that last payment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and even we had setbacks. We had like a $8,000 tax bill because we didn't know she was a private contractor, and so we were working through that. And even with setbacks, just staying the course and chipping away a little bit at a time.
What was it like using a dryer for the first time? It was magic.
We haven't done it yet.
We haven't done
Oh my goodness! Oh wow!
We go over to our friend's house, and it's pretty magical.
That's amazing. I thought I was frugal, Dave. This is impressive.
They go to their friend's house. That's not even $1.50. So that's great. Way to go, guys.
That's awesome.
Very, very cool. We're very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who were your biggest cheerleaders?
I would say our families have been super big encouragers throughout it, and then we've had friends along the way, specifically friends who we think like have been just wiser with their money, and so especially with like the different setbacks that we've had, we've been able to just ask them and say, hey, what do you think we should do in this situation? And without them, we probably would have had bigger setbacks. So I think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think family in our corner was always supporting us, and then we just had good people around us that were pointing us to good tax accountants, figuring out her taxes, and just good ways to save and good ways to handle our money.
Yeah, very good. Well, congratulations, you guys. Very well done. We've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires, our latest #1 bestseller for you. How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth, how you can too. That's your next step. That's your next process. You go ahead and next big milestone anyway, becoming a Baby Steps millionaire. We've also got a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give to somebody that was encouraged by your story probably. And if you hadn't been through Financial Peace University officially, now you can do it. We're going to give you a 1-year membership to that, or you can give it away, whatever you want to do. So well done, you guys. We're very, very proud of you. All right, Paul and Stephanie, Lynchburg, Virginia, $101,000 paid off in 29 months, making 53 to 95. Count it down, and let's hear a debt-free scream.
All right, 3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's done.
Hanging the clothes to dry. Love it.
Tyler's in Orlando. Hey, Tyler, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, I've always wanted to ask this. How you doing, sir?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Not much. So I'm in a position where I'm going to be getting a promotion soon, where I'll be making $200,000 a year, and currently making $80,000.
Wow, that's awesome!
Big jump.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that I come from a humble mechanic background, making $30,000 to $40,000 a year. This is unfathomable amount of money to me. I don't want to go stupid with it. I want to do good with it, and I just wanted some advice. I've listened to you for the past year or so. I kind of have a little bit of an idea, but like I said, with these kind of extra zeros at the end, I'm kind of, a little scared, a little anxious, and a little lost. So.
Well, congratulations, man. I know it's scary, but it sounds like you want to do the right thing here. Do you have any debt?
I have about $20,000 in debt between the truck and just some other little things, daycare, baker places, truck, a computer and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that I did plan on my first paycheck that I get from the company in October, just going ahead and paying it off.
How much you have in savings?
Just $0 at the moment.
Well, that'll all change very soon. I'm going to put you on a plan here because we're running into the break, but I'm going to get you Financial Peace University. I want you to watch all 9 video lessons, and with that, you're going to get every dollar to start budgeting and paying attention to where every single cent of this $200,000 is going. We're going to get you an emergency fund. We're going to pay off the debt. We're going to get you investing, and you're going to put this $200,000 to work, my friend. So hang on the line. Austin will pick up. We will hook you up with Financial Peace University.
This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. I'm Dave Ramsey. This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dan is with us in Boston. Hey, Dan, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
How you doing?
Great, man. What's up?
I just have a quick question for you because I listen to your show quite a bit. And first, I want to say thank you for taking my call. And I wanted to, a lot of the stuff is structured around houses. So I know you would say do the 15-year fixed, and the mortgage should be no more than 25% of your take home. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to get, let's say you wanted to get a 2-unit instead of a house, I don't have kids or anything like that. Would the same thing apply? And then how would you factor in the rents that you get?
Okay.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the way to answer the question for you to answer the question is this: why? I'm asking you, why do we tell you to save, to not have a house payment more than 25% of your take-home pay?
So you're not biting off more than you can chew, basically.
Right. And so you can get the house paid off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, The duplex changes that because you have a renter, you have repairs, and you have rental income, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would keep you from, what percentage would keep you from biting off more than you could chew and not being able to get the house paid off?
Like sooner. Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I like your.
I mean, you could use the 25%, but my point is, we're going to use that rent as, I'm not counting it at 100%, like it's not there, like it's always coming, because rent doesn't always come. Okay?
Absolutely.
But if I wanted to raise the 25% up a little bit by, let's say that the unit is renting for, the other unit's renting for $1,000, okay? If I wanted to say, all right, I'm going to take $300 to $500 of that and add it to the 25%, that might still meet the common sense guideline that we're giving you. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. I figured you'd either say that or have a bigger, instead of 3 to 6 months, do 12 to 18 just to
no, I'm still going to stick. Yeah, I'd still stick with the 3 to 6 months. Now, the other thing you got to know is you do need in your property account. In addition to your 3 to 6 months, you need some money there. Anytime you have rental property, crap breaks.
Yeah.
And they break stuff if it doesn't break on its own. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you're just you're going to be surprised at what your expenses are on these things. It's not all Skittles and rainbows.
And let me remind you, you live next to your renter, so they will be knocking. They will see you outside, and they will complain about things. So there's you got to think about that too when you're looking at duplexes.
Yeah, and which renter you're putting in. So the great news is you live next to your renter. You can see them and get in touch with them. The bad news is you live next to your renter.
So vet them very well.
So, yeah, that's going to be the thing. Francis is with us in Salt Lake City. Hi, Francis. How are you?
Dave and George, what a privilege. Thank you so much for taking my call. Sure. I've been listening to you, Dave, since I was a teenager. My father turned me on to you, my mom and dad, and what a privilege. Thank you so much, and bless you.
Well, bless you. How can we help, darling?
Thank you. So brief overview. I'm 55, single mom. I've raised 2 kids. I've been through 2 bouts of breast cancer, but I have fabulous news. As of 3 years ago, I'm 100% debt-free.
Yay!
Awesome. Yay! I know. I haven't celebrated that with anybody, so thank you. I guess my heart is still heavy because I am debt-free, but I own nothing. I don't own a home. I've rented this entire time. So just quick overview on my income and my bills. I make $22 an hour. I'm an admin assistant here in Salt Lake. I get paid every 2 weeks. My checks are $15.60, but my take home is only $8.50, and this is why. I have been diligent in putting 15% into my Roth 401k, which is $460 a month, and I get a 4% match from my employer. Mm-hmm. And I do my HSA max, which is $300 a month. And as of today, there's $4,000 in there. Mm-hmm. And
what's your question? What's your question, Francis?
My question is, I have two questions, Dave. I have $10,000 in an emergency fund. And that is it for savings. I work part-time.
Francis, what's your question?
My question is, do I use my few extra dollars I have a month with my side job to save for a home?
Yes. And I might even back off on the HSA and some of the retirement savings temporarily and get you a down payment saved up for a house.
Is that not what you wanted to hear?
I knew you were going to be honest with me. I guess I had 20 grand in there, and I started getting you're never going to have 20% down with the house. A starter house is $400,000 and $500,000 now, Francis. You're not going to ever make that at your age now. You'll be buying a house at 70. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to dump it all in
a starter house is not
stock.
$400,000 or $500,000. That's the median house price in America right now is $380,000. And that would be very true in Salt Lake City. A starter house is $150,000 to $200,000, and you don't have to have the 20% down on your first purchase. You're just going to have PMI if you don't have 20% down. But you need to get in the real estate game because you do not want to live to 85 and for the next 30 years pay increasing rents every year. Because rents are going to go up every year. They have, as long as I've been alive. They go up every year. Rent doesn't go down. And it doesn't stabilize, and it doesn't level off. And so you want to get rent out of your life because it's a destabilizer to your golden years. So, yeah, it's time to do that.
And it might mean getting some more income in the door. If you might want to look for a new job, you might want to take on extra work right now in order to get that down payment.
Yeah, and it's okay to slow down or stop your retirement and certainly your HSA savings for a short period of time, 2 years, 3 years here, and you buy a home when you're 58.
And that creates a fixed expense.
You know, and you get a cute little starter. It can even be a little condo. But let's get our foot in the door on this real estate thing so it doesn't continue to escalate and get out of reach for you permanently. But, yeah, you're going to get there. And yeah, George is right. You may want to relook this career. You're not making a ton of money. You're doing okay. You're not starving to death. And you're very diligent. And you're very careful and smart. But that's what I would do if I were in your shoes. Going into retirement, it's important to not only own a home, but get one paid off because it stabilizes the largest part of your budget.
And it changes what kind of retirement you have.
Yeah.
You don't have a mortgage hanging over your head or any other kind of debt.
Or rent.
Yeah. Well, Francis, tune in tonight for our real estate reality check event. I think it'll be encouraging for you to hear, what's going on in the market, the right way to buy a house, how to do it with wisdom. I hope it's encouraging to you, and that's at 7 p.m. Central tonight.
Yeah, just jump on RamseySolutions.com. For those of you listening to this is July the 14th on Thursday night. We'll be doing this event, the Real Estate Reality Check. There's a lot of people facing a lot of stuff out there emotionally regarding whether they think real estate's going to crash or whether they're going to be priced out of the market for the rest of their lives or whatever. And there's some real things to talk about on this and to get things done. So let's... You guys join us tonight. It's completely free, by the way, the live stream tonight. And it'll be from 7 Central to about 8 Central, give or take. And so jump in and join us. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That was a good hour, George Camel.
Good times. A lot of housing calls, which not shocking, but we didn't really plan for that with this real estate event tonight. But it's on top of mind for a lot of people.
It's what a lot of people are talking about. Austin, Ben, Zach, Andrew, James, and Kelly in the booth. Great job in there, guys. That does put this particular hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Hang on. We'll be with you before you know it. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work they love, and create actual, real, amazing relationships. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of The Fine Print on Ramsey Networks, a podcast exposing what the fine print taketh away. Is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Starting off this hour is David in Charlotte. Hi, David. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. So great to talk to you. Appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm 53, and me and my wife have been following your philosophy for many years. We are through all the baby steps. We have our house paid off just as about 2 years ago. And we actually have another house, a rental house, that's totally paid for.
Great.
So we also, it's great. We are very blessed, and I have a great business that I love. Here's my question. We have IRAs and Roth IRAs. I say we've been following your philosophy, but the only thing that I can't seem to do is keep money in the stock market. I have made many mistakes pulling it out, putting it back in. And, it's cost us a lot of money. If I would have just kept it in there, we would have been, we would have had quite a bit more in our IRAs. Now, my question is, do I really, mentally, it's just a problem for me to keep it in there. It's been, I want to watch it every day, multiple times looking at it. Question is, do I really need to have money in the stock market at this point?
No, you could just buy real estate if you want to do that. You can do whatever you want to do. There's no mandate that you do this. But I would challenge you. I would challenge you, David, that I think what you do need to do is you do need to learn how to analyze and assess and learn about an investment, and then may be able to make a choice to do that investment or not do that investment. Okay. So you bought this rental property, right?
Yes.
Do you fret about it?
No.
Why?
We don't. Because it's not something that can go up and down every day.
Yes, it is.
Value. Well, you're right. I guess it's just different for me. It's a tangible thing. I can see it. I get a rent check every month.
But you also said a minute ago that if you'd left the money in the market, you would have a lot more now.
That's true.
Okay. So here's the thing. It's always interesting to me. The biggest difference in real estate, in actual fact, is that it is tangible, that you can walk over there and touch the bricks and mortar and, you see if there's weeds in the yard or whatever, right? That kind of thing. And that does give us an emotional comfort that is a reasonable observation, okay? But what real estate does not do, that's different than stock, is there is zero guarantees. The only reason that we become emotionally comfortable with real estate is because we are more intimately familiar with its history, with its track record, because we grew up with it. We grew up in that neighborhood. We've been around that neighborhood 20 years, whatever. And you just kind of go, well, houses in that neighborhood go up. And even if there was a bump in the road and it went down a little bit, I'm not going to panic, because generally houses in that neighborhood are worth a lot more than they were 20 years ago. And I'm just, even though that might have been a weekly or a monthly thing or even an annual thing where it was a little soft or a little bad, no need to panic, because I'm good with the long-term track record, right? I would challenge you that you should be able to do the same thing with the stock market. Now, if you don't want to, I'm not going to be mad at you. But this is an intellectual exercise. In other words, learning something new that you don't know today. Because if you could internalize the historical data on the stock market by sitting with a Smart Vista Pro and learning and looking at this. I've got one mutual fund that's 80-something years old. It's only had like 10 or 15 down years out of 80 years. It's got a 12.2 average annual return for 80 years. That's more safe than your rental house.
Right.
Statistically, mathematically.
Right.
But you got to get that down in your heart So you quit looking at the freaking charts every day. I don't look at my mutual funds any more often than I look at my real estate. So I'm not trying to say you're stupid for not doing this. If you can't get comfortable, stop doing it. Okay? But I think as a part of your personal growth plan, you demanding of yourself that you learn something new would be you just need to study this market a little bit, this stock market thing a little bit more. So if you want to pull it out and say, I'm not going in for 3 more years, but I am going to meet with my Smart Investor Pro who has the heart of a teacher, and I'm going to get comfortable because of knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge, the Bible says. So it's just knowledge gives you calmness.
Yeah, on top of the perspective of looking back at the stock market for 40 years and going, oh, the S&P 500, some serious appreciation there with just a few dips. I feel good about this over the long term. So we talk about how the only people that get hurt on the roller coaster are the ones who jump off early. And you jumped off early a whole bunch of times, and that hurt, and you don't want to go back on that roller coaster. But like Dave's saying, if you meet with a Smart Investor Pro and they outline all this for you, you're going to go, oh, okay, I feel good about getting that Roth IRA back up and going, investing in good growth stock mutual funds, diversified across 4 types. We're not talking about single stocks that are super volatile. I agree, don't do that. But if you're talking about the stock market in general, it's a safe bet over the long term.
Yeah. So, here's the thing, David. If you are 100% going to jump in and out of it, stop doing it because you're going to lose money, okay? Just stop and go on and do something else. And go buy some real estate and there. But I just, when I bump into something like that, there's 2 kinds of fear that we all have, me included. I have fear of things that I should be afraid of. I don't need to touch a hot stove. I don't need to stand in the middle of the interstate with 18-wheelers coming by. Okay, that's a good fear. It saves your life because the data around that fear is that, if you're not afraid, you're going to get killed, okay, or burned or whatever, right? So, but the other kind of fear is false evidence appearing real, FEAR, okay? And that is, I just don't know yet. It's like the first time I'll never forget, and I've told this story on the air 100 times. My dad gives me the keys to the car. That was dumber than a rock. I was 12 years old, said move the car around back. Well, it was a long time ago. We had gravel driveway. So I got in the car, 12 years old, started the car, and stepped on the accelerator all the way to the floor.
Oh, boy.
I just about dug a ditch in the driveway with those back tires spinning on that gravel driveway because I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And when you first learn to drive, you're freaking out because you don't know what you're doing. But now you drive with your knees, and people put on their makeup and eat and do calculations and check their Twitter account while they're driving.
Dave, I think you still drive like that 12-year-old. You're burning rubber. I've seen you.
Well, that boy lives inside of me, I can tell you that. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Let me ask you a question. When you think of a millionaire, what kind of job do you picture them having? Is it some kind of high-powered executive position like a VP or a CEO? Well, here's the thing. Only 15% of millionaires actually have jobs that are in management positions. The reality is the top 5 careers for millionaires in America are engineer, number 1, accountant, number 2, teacher, number 3, manager, like we said, number 4, and attorney is number 5. That's just one of the surprising things our team found when we conducted the largest study of millionaires ever done. We talked to over 10,000 millionaires to find out who they are, and how they got there. Our study also made it clear that to become a millionaire, you've got to invest wisely over a period of time, and a big part of that is getting someone in your corner to teach you, not do it for you. My team recommends trustworthy, vetted investing pros from all over the country. We call them SmartVestor Pros. To get in touch with the SmartVestor Pro in your area, go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor and start building wealth today. That's RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. Paul is in Cincinnati. Hey, Paul, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave and George. How are you guys doing?
Great. How can we help?
Just have a question for you. I'm hoping you can speak out of your experience from when you and Sharon hit bottom. I'm wondering, how do I make it up to my wife for my financial mistakes and wasteful spending from before we started the baby steps?
Well, obviously you stop the activity.
Yes, sir.
Right? And the more time that elapses from the last time you were stupid, the less she's going to look at it. Okay, like in my case, 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, my goodness gracious, now 34 years ago, we filed bankruptcy. Okay, and we lost everything. Now, so the stuff that I did in that is still inside of our marriage. It's still inside of our psyche. It's still in our spirits. But it doesn't affect her. She's not nearly as afraid today of me doing that same stupid thing as she was 1 month after I did it. Does that make sense?
Right.
So time...
80% is behavior change, right, sir?
Yeah, time is a great healer is what I'm saying. As long as you don't keep doing it, right? So, but we used to say the joke, and it wasn't really a joke, that we not only had an emergency fund, we had an emergency fund for the emergency fund. Because Sharon was not going to be without money ever again with little kids, because she was without money with little kids. And, she was terrified, literally. It was not just afraid. She was terrified that we were going to be homeless. Our water got cut off. Our electricity got cut off. She was terrified. And we had a brand new baby named Rachel and a toddler named Denise. Yeah. And so, she didn't forget that in a week.
Right. How did you earn back her trust?
Not doing it again for a long period of time.
Not doing it again. Right. Okay. Yeah. We're in baby step 2 right now, and we're throwing like $4,500 per month at our debt on top of our regular payments. And I just, we just started, but today I had to come to my wife again because I remembered another mistake that I made that just hit the credit card bill. Yes, we've cut up the credit card, but I didn't see it till now. And
that wasn't a recent mistake. It was the discovery of an old mistake. Yes. And you didn't hide it from her. You didn't hide it from her, and you didn't run the debt up last week, right?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
You just didn't see the bill until you found it the other day, and you bring it to her.
Yes, sir.
That shouldn't count against you.
Okay.
And the other thing is this: we quit making decisions by ourselves. Sharon and I did.
Right.
We make decisions together. And so we don't spend money or make big financial decisions without both of us being in agreement on that. Now, the definition of big, as our life has gotten big, is different. Okay? But, if she goes and buys something now with our current income, it's a different version of big, right? But we're not going to do something that's going to interfere in our lives or have a weight that we don't discuss it and do it together. And you guys, you and Whitney have been doing that since you started your relationship.
Oh yeah, I met her here at Ramsey, so it was easy to be on the same page. But that level of open and honest communication, that's great marriage advice and it's great money advice. And the more honest you are and the less things she's discovering, the better it's going to be for the long term. And like Dave said, as time goes on, there's going to be more trust that is built there, which means there's going to be less of the guilt and shame that you're feeling right now, which it sounds like he's beating himself up over these mistakes. And I want him to look to the future. The more she sees him sacrificing, wanting to get out of debt, communicating, I think this will dissipate.
Well, yeah, and back to the working together thing that you were talking about, that's another element of it, okay? Because in our case, I made all the decisions. I just did everything. And
Sharon was an innocent bystander.
She just, it all happened to her. okay? And so now we do a budget, and she is, if something screws up, it's half her fault because she had a vote. She knew we were doing it. If something goes bad, she does not get an I told you so anymore because we did it together.
There's shared
ownership.
ownership.
So she has a sense of, it gives her a level of trust because she is involved in the decision making. She's speaking into the budget, okay, rather than it happening to her. And that increased her trust as well.
So doing a budget together.
Time heals all, not repeating the mistakes. Obviously, full disclosure, full authenticity, lots of communication, and she now has a vote. And so then she doesn't get to gripe if something goes wrong, because we made this decision together. It was a dumb idea. I know, we did it together. We were dumb together. And we've done some stuff since we went bankrupt. We look back on it and we go, God, that was stupid. But at least we were together stupid. It wasn't like I did it and then she can point her finger because she's a genius and I'm an idiot. We can't do that anymore. I'm like, hey, we were fellow idiots in that one. We were fellow geniuses in the other one, And that's...
You share the wins, you share the losses.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of the budget. We don't talk about that enough, because a lot of spouses like to stand in the sidelines and throw grenades over on the one working on the budget and trying to get the money done. Well, if you just get that over there straightened out, they stand over there on the side and look over the fence and yell about it instead of getting back in the middle of it and actually fixing the freaking problem.
Quarterback.
Exactly. Exactly. It does away with the I told you so or the grenade throwing from the neighbor's yard or whatever you want to call it. You both are making the decision. These are two grown-ups. One of you doesn't get to whine and go, well, my husband won't let me. My wife won't let me. It's time to be a freaking grown-up. Sign your name on the same line with everybody else on this budget. We are deciding what we are doing. And it gets rid of all this, I'm your daddy, I'm your mommy, not your husband or wife thing. And he doesn't have that, the guy calling. He's not got any of that. He's just trying to recover from the emotions of all the mistakes and, like you said, the guilt and the shame.
But powerful part is, like Financial Peace University, a byproduct of that is you get on the same page because you have shared language and shared goals. And a lot of couples have that for the first time after going through.
When they start doing a budget, we have had so many people going through Financial Peace University that says save their marriage. And we're like, dude, it was not a marriage class.
We didn't mean to make a marriage class.
It didn't mean to make a marriage class. But we forced them to be in agreement. We forced them to both have a vote, to have the dignity of speaking into their future as a grown-up instead of being enabled or caretaking or princesses or princes or whatever it is. It's whatever the crap goes on in people's dysfunctional marriages, right? And so we're forcing them to do this together. We're also forcing them to come into agreement on what their fears are and what their dreams are. And that will force you to have an awesome marriage.
Yeah, and those mistakes, it's a part of your story, but it doesn't define you. Your bankruptcy doesn't define you, but it's a part of your story.
No, it's how I learned not to be quite as stupid.
Your identity isn't stupid. You've just done some stupid stuff.
I got a PhD in DUMB. I graduated.
That's one less than Deloney. You're almost there.
This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Mark and Megan are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing great.
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Charlotte,
North Carolina.
Cool. Good to have you. And how much have you paid off?
$362,500.
All right. And how long did this take?
Just shy of 7 years, so about 82 months.
Got it. And your range of income during that 7 years?
We started around 180 and finished last year around 290.
Excellent. What do y'all do for a living?
I work for a tech services company and doing business planning and strategy.
And I'm in banking.
Way to go, guys. Y'all are
Sharp
killing
couple.
it. So this kind of money over 7 years, I'm going to guess and say you're weird people and paid off your house.
We did.
You got it.
All right.
You got it.
Hey, couple of weirdos. Awesome.
That was not a car.
Well done, you guys.
Yeah,
That's
nice
not
car.
a car. That's not a Lamborghini. Okay. Great, guys. Good job, man. All right. Well,
Thank
tell
you.
us your story. How did you decide to do this? How'd you get plugged into the Ramsey stuff?
Gosh, well, I think it probably started when I came out of college. I had heard about you through family, so I was kind of always plugged in. And then when Mark and I met and started dating, and I think we were always pretty transparent with one another, kind of discussing finances and goals. And we just knew when we were signing up for a big mortgage that it was going to be a big target for us to hit, and just decided let's go after it. We were very fortunate to enter into our relationship, both debt free and less this mortgage, and so we just, centered all of our forces and tried to fire away at it as quickly as we could.
Okay, cool. So, Mark, you're in banking. How'd all this come up with you?
Through Megan. So, as she said, we met and started dating. She always was kind of preaching your books a little bit towards me, and she gave me a few to read, in which I did, and kind of latched on to them and found just a lot of what I thought was common sense in which you offered, and just the ability to take that debt, wipe it off, and just feel free from it was probably part of our biggest goal.
Yeah. Part of you had to look at this and go, this guy gets paid for this?
I have to admit, we did both we're very fortunate to come from families that I think had always instilled in us a sense of practicality and common sense. So I think getting to a place of commonality and agreement was kind of encoded in us from just our parents.
That's wise.
Yeah, very much so. Nothing, I would say, explicit growing up, but we, I think, observed a lot of frugal nature, and I'll call my parents a little bit
It's an
cheap.
Unbelievable advantage, though.
Yeah.
That you had.
Absolutely.
You came into this with a real functional view
Yep.
on how all this worked.
That's right.
And so when you saw our stuff, you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
It did. It gave us good structure to follow.
Did your banker friends think you're weird?
I don't tell them anything.
Oh, good. Okay. I didn't
They
know.
know nothing. Yeah, I like it. Very
We'll
cool.
celebrate with you even if they won't.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so if somebody finds out, how old are you guys?
I'm 35.
And 41.
What's this house worth?
About $750 to $800.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed.
700?
It's $750-ish.
750, okay. And how much in retirement?
Oh gosh, $650.
Six-ish?
Yeah. Okay, so you're baby steps millionaires.
Yep.
You are.
You did it, and you're young ones. You did it early. Well done.
Thank you.
This works.
It works.
Yes, it works.
It works.
Was it easier than you thought or harder than you thought?
I think it was easier simply because we were always in communication and could talk through anything that was challenging.
Yeah.
And so the issues where I would want to go faster, which was usually the case, I think Mark would kind of temper that. And I think anything that seemed like a hurdle to overcome was very much tempered by that open line of dialogue and being candid with one another. So I think it was easier.
Yeah.
Because of a healthy marriage. Look at
Yes,
that.
very much so.
Yes. And strong upbringing, both of them. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So we probably had a goal of paying it off in 5. We extended a little bit, tried to a little live in the now, do some house upgrades, stuff like that, but always made sure we had the money for it versus taking on more debt.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of kiddos along the way.
Yeah.
How many kids have you got?
So we currently have 3, and number 4 will be here next month.
All right.
Exciting.
Very good.
Debt-free
Very good.
baby.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's fun. How's it feel to not have a payment in the world?
Fantastic.
Wow. It's amazing.
Sense of freedom.
Did that catch you off guard more than you thought or less than you thought?
I don't know that it's quite sunk in.
Yeah.
I mean, we just paid this off in April, and so we're starting to see that compounding effect of the mortgage payment not going out. And
not extra on it.
Right. And so that's been, I think it's starting to settle in, and certainly as we are preparing for this addition to our family, I think that's been very comforting.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you're sitting on $300K a year and no payments.
Yeah.
Right. You got some margin.
Yeah.
What's something big you want to do soon?
Oh, go overseas.
Okay.
Overseas.
Good
redo our
trip.
kitchen.
A good trip. Okay.
Get a good trip in. Yeah.
After baby is big enough that you
That's
can
right.
cut loose. Yeah.
That's right.
All
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, congratulations,
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
We're very, very proud of you. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
I would say just common sense. Live within your means. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
He makes it sound so easy. There are people up here going,
not that
I
hard.
worked 65 jobs. I just barely almost died. And he's like, it's just common sense. Live on less than you make. Yeah.
Not rocket science.
That's great.
No, we mentioned it earlier. I think the communication was also big, at least from my perspective.
Yeah.
Just being able to talk through and align on things.
Very cool. So. Great job, guys. Very proud of you. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you.
Thank you.
You are one, obviously, and you can give it away if you want and inspire somebody else. And same thing with the book Total Money Makeover, and the same thing with a 1-year membership to Financial Peace University. We'll get you signed up for all of that, and as just our way of saying thank you for making the trip over here. Congratulations on the new baby.
Awesome. Thank you.
And congrats on being 100% debt-free. Did you bring any of the kiddos with you?
We've got 2 of them here.
All right.
Good. Cuties.
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Now we're going to be shy.
What are their names and ages?
Charlie here, 4, they're twins.
Oh.
And Louie here as well.
Charlie and Louie.
Charlie and Louie, the twins, 4 years old. They're beautiful. Awesome.
Shout out to big sister Emmy, who's not here.
Okay, didn't make the trip.
Didn't
All
make the
right,
trip.
good
That's
stuff. All right, Mark and Megan, Charlie and Louie, and baby on the way. $363,000 paid off, house and everything in 7 years. Baby Steps Millionaires, making $180 to $290. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
That is how it's done, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo! Man, love it, love it, love it. So proud of you guys. Very, very, very well done. You know, George, when we talk about personal finance is 80% behavior, only 20% had knowledge. I often think back when my grandmother was alive. She was in a small town and had grown up in that small town, 3rd generation, and knew everybody. And she would say things like, well, so-and-so's from a good family.
Mm.
And at first, I kind of thought, when I was a little kid, I kind of thought she was talking about like they were wealthy or they were prominent or they were prestigious, and she was being like trying to be stuck up country club or something, you know. And as I grew up and got to know her better, what she was saying was they were a family of character. The family was functional. They were a good family.
It wasn't about money.
Exactly. But it ends up being about money. These two came from a good family to where for them this was just automatic. They didn't have to like relearn because they were raised by wolves.
Be deprogrammed.
You know, they didn't have to be reparented because they weren't parented the first time. And so when we talk to you guys all the time about changing your family tree, it's more than just leaving somebody, you know, your children who are the village idiot with $2 million. It's the idea that you're changing your child so they're not the village idiot. You become the good family.
You're changing the DNA of your family and the character.
Exactly. You're changing the behavior and the character and the flow and who they are and how they relate so that when they get married, they're these two.
That's way more powerful than an inheritance.
It is.
They're inheriting character.
And then on top of that, throw $5 or $10 million. Now you got world changers. That's changing your family tree.
That's inspiring.
You know, that's a good family. These people they're mom and dad, both of them.
Good people.
Impressive. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 25:4. Remove the dross from silver, and a silversmith can produce a vessel. Theodore Roosevelt said, nothing in this world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty. Well, that's pleasant, but it's true.
Yeah. Teddy understood many, many years ago.
Yeah. So our real estate reality check is tonight, a live stream. For those of you listening live or close to live, this is July 14th, Thursday night at 7 p.m. We've got just under 100,000 folks already registered to watch it. It is a free live stream, the real estate reality check. We're actually going to have a little classroom time on, what makes up the real estate market, where the actual data lands, and then Rachel Cruz, George Camel, and I will address this whole subject. And, we're going to address things we've been hearing from you here on the air, and George and Rachel read some of the comments and stuff in their
always dangerous
social media, which
we did
I
it so you didn't have to.
I'm not going to read them. It's not because I'm stuck up or something. It just, I can't put that much negativity in my system and still walk around. It's just
but there's a lot of emotion and
there's
anger
a lot of emotion, and so we're going to address that. We're going to help folks with it tonight. Just go to RamseySolutions.com and you can sign up for it if you're hearing this in time. Hope you are. And we'll try to make it available for some of you that don't hear it on time, but I don't know if we'll be able to or not. It is a live stream tonight. We know that at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is 100% free. All right, let's check with Cody in Boise. Hi, Cody. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Good. I want to preface this just first by I feel like I'm almost going behind my wife's back and calling to talk about this. So here we go. Me and my wife, we've kind of been starting our debt-free journey here the last, I want to say, year or so. We've been a little bit Dave-ish. We get really good and then kind of fall back, but we fall back together. My wife wants to be a motivational speaker, so she's been really trying to get on that gun. And I want to support her with everything I can. She came to me a couple days ago saying that she had a phone call with some people from the Speaker Lab. Said it was a free call just to kind of see where she's going, see what they could do to help her. After the call, she gave me a call and said, "Don't be mad. I just spent $5,000.
Why wouldn't you be mad? Of course you're going to be mad.
Because I try to support. Yeah.
Of course you're going to be mad. You guys were in agreement on what you were doing, and then she just got on there and got sold. Of course you're going to be mad. Why wouldn't you be mad?
Well, we don't ever spend even $20, $30 without talking to each other.
Yeah, so, she just bought a freaking car, man.
Yes.
So how did she pay for this?
So, like I said, we've been Dave-ish. We've been paying a credit card off. We had the credit card down.
Cancel the sale.
$500.
Just call them and tell them you're not doing it.
She did it in increments. She put, I wouldn't say she put $8,000 or $5,000. She did $900 yesterday.
No, and just cancel it. Just tell them you're not doing it.
I know those guys. Tell them we said to refund them.
Do you really?
They're local guys.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I just looked it up. I thought I recognize that name. And so, I think if they're reasonable people, you say, hey, listen, we're on the Ramsey plan. We're trying to get out of debt. We didn't talk about this. We really can't afford this right now. And see what they say. There's no promises. They're a business. But I think they might be willing to work with you on this.
I don't think they have a choice, to be honest with you. I think you can just cancel the sale.
Or you say, I'll talk to the credit card company. We'll have it, refunded that way. Mm-hmm. But, this is, this bigger than this. This is financial infidelity. And we got to get on the same page. And there's no more Dave-ish. If we're going to do this thing, you're not going to get any progress if you take one step forward, 3 steps back. So we have to really go, what's at the root that's causing us to fall back time and time again? Do we really want this? Mm-hmm. What is our why? Do we have a strong enough why? What is our vision for the family? Why are we trying to get out of debt? But this is a reset that you guys need to have as a couple.
Okay.
And I get she has dreams and she wants to be a motivational speaker, but right now we've got to focus on getting out of debt so that we can fund
I make
this.
a lot of money speaking. I've never paid anybody $5,000 to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when she talked to me, she was really excited about it, and then they gave her these promises of, we'll give you this many leads, we'll help you build your website, we'll do this, do that.
and a free call just turned into a lot of money.
Well, they're great salespeople, apparently.
Yeah, it's okay if their service is valid. You're not in a position to buy their service today. You're too broke.
Okay.
And she's not in a position to spend $5,000 to start a small business today. You're broke.
Right.
And so, so what she needs to do is continue to work on her craft, continue to grow, continue to get reps. Listen, there's only one thing at the end of the day that causes people to be world-class speakers, and that is, two things: studying your craft ongoing and reps. Lots of reps. Step up on the stage and talk. Step up on the stage and talk. Step up on the stage and talk. And it's not a class, and it's not a website, and it's not leads. It's reps. So a class, a website, leads, all that'll work. But, Cody, this sale needs to be canceled for lots of reasons. One is you can't afford it. Two is she violated your all's trust, and she should be ashamed about that. Instead of like, don't be mad. Yes, I'm mad. Yeah, you dadgum right, I'm mad. You 5,000. Listen, man, I'm a multimillionaire. My wife doesn't spend $5,000. I don't spend $5,000 talking to her on something like this. Now, we obviously have transactions at the business here that Sharon's not involved in on a daily basis.
And she's happy for it.
But in terms of, she doesn't want to screw with it. But in terms of things that Sharon and I are doing in our personal life, I don't book trips with that personal. Hey, I booked a trip for us to go on vacation. That would go over like a dadgum lead balloon.
Yeah, whether you're a millionaire or not, this is a huge financial decision.
Yeah, you just make major decisions together, and you don't throw a grenade over the fence and go, don't be mad. I'm sorry, I'm mad. Yeah, you dadgum right, I'm mad. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So, no, and then George is right. The biggest issue at the core of this whole thing is the two of you have got to decide what you're going to be. You've been screwing around with the edges of this thing. Are you really going to get real and do it or not? And get yourself out of debt. And we're not trying to sell you anything. We just want to sell you on changing your life. Transforming your life.
That's one of the beauties of cutting up the credit card and being broke is you don't have a choice. You can't go spend $5,000 if you wanted to.
Hey.
There's an idea. If
there's a debit card and there's not $5,000 in the checking account, you don't accidentally spend it and go, don't be mad. You don't have that as an option.
And that's why it's fun to spend your own money, because you make decisions differently.
There it is.
Yeah. There's one angle.
Yeah.
But I'll reach out to them myself if I have to remedy this situation for Cody.
Okay.
That's not cool.
Wow, George has got pull.
I've got so much pull around here, Dave.
George,
you have no idea.
George knows people. So Austin, make sure you get Cody's phone number if they
DM
want
me on
if
Instagram.
they want to cancel the sale, which is what they should do. Big George is going to step in for them. Okay.
Thank you for calling me Big, Dave. That's a first and a last.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to throw his weight around, his considerable girth.
130 pounds getting thrown around, Dave. Be careful. Watch out, world. Oh, boy. Well, Dave, it's almost game time. I'm pumped for this event. In just a few hours, we're doing this thing.
It is, man. I'm so excited.
The team's been working so hard. We've been working hard on all of our content to make sure that we deliver people what they ask for.
And I'll just go ahead and tell you, I'm not going to say anything about it tonight, but, we were walking through, looking at the production values and everything earlier, and doing a walkthrough on the whole thing, and the quality of production that Ramsey is putting out these days. I'm so proud.
They one up it every time, and I'm shocked.
Our video team, what this is going to look like on camera.
It's beyond 4K. I didn't even know that existed, Dave.
It's world class.
You'll see the sweat on our brow tonight. So tune in. RamseySolutions.com/realitycheck. Can't wait for it.
There it is. Game on. That puts this hour in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.